I've seen advisors last year that basically doubled their income. Some even made more than double their income for 2024, which is woohoo. Sounds great, which is it is. It's a very powerful thing. But what they're doing is they're buying back their time.
How important are habits for advisors to be successful?
Very, very important. So we actually had multiple people on stage for our Miami event. So during Founders Club experience, and each one of them, I mean, each person already they have similar habits. And I want to say there's probably 5.
Systems work, people fail. Welcome to InsureMark's Advisor Mentorship Podcast with Vice President Jeremy Hauser.
The year appears to have gotten off to a rousing start for you and your team, Jeremy Hauser. In fact, you have already been on the road. What was the occasion?
Pretty busy this last couple of weeks. So we actually, my wife and I, we happened to go out west for our 8-year anniversary. So that took place in February. So time is absolutely flying. So it was great. We went out to Napa. It was great. It's been at least, I think 7 or 8 years since we've gone there. So we are definitely a whole different person, both of us.
With 3 kids, yes.
Yeah, you got 3 kids, married, and just it was great to actually have some downtime. First time to travel without the kids as well. This was mommy's first time to actually be away from baby Harvey. So Harvey was, he's approaching, I think 6 or 7 months now. So that wasn't too easy at first, but I think mommy got her groove back, so we're okay.
Awesome.
So it was nice, but we actually, and obviously mixing some business with pleasure. So the first day that I went out to California, I actually saw a couple of my advisors. I'll talk about that here in a little bit, and it was great. So they're located not too far from Napa, 2 different areas. And so I'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit, but also our Founders Club experience. So this year we went to the beautiful Miami, Florida. It was pretty amazing. I know weather has been absolutely cold and horrendous the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So it was nice to get into that South Beach area, enjoy some nice weather for once, and then also just being around some of the top producers that we consistently work with. We had about 60 advisors that qualified for this one based off of 2024. So it was nice to get with not only these advisors, but we really had some big things that we went through during that specific meeting. And obviously advisors sharing best practices with other advisors. That's what they always look forward to. And we want to really give them a great experience with Founders Club. So that seems to be something advisors really look forward to each and every year. So been traveling and going to continue to travel. So it's a busy year for us, for sure.
Talking about the advisors all getting together, is there something you see them mentioning they want to get better with this year?
Oh, absolutely. There's a handful of things. Previous episodes I've started to talk a little bit more about it, but now it's action items. So now we are absolutely executing on what some of the advisors are looking to do. A lot of them, when it comes to delegating, that's really tends to be the term or the word of the year for my advisors is delegate or delegation. So just getting below the line activities off of their plate and hiring the right people. So delegating certain tasks and things that they are currently having in their practice that is maybe not the most revenue generating activity for them. So finding the right people to put those tasks on has been very beneficial for advisors. We actually picked up a group that is actually now helping our advisors hire the right person. So some would call it a headhunter almost, but we actually do have a group that ends up having a sit-down conversation with the advisor's team. They ask them about the above the line, below the line activities that they're looking to get off their plate, who exactly they're looking for, not just the task, but also as a person, who would be the right fit for them to really stick out and help bring brand awareness, and just really some individual who can be what we call a hype man or a hype woman to that advisor. And that individual as almost like a headhunter for the advisor, has hired multiple people for my advisors now. It's been pretty cool to actually watch and see it evolve, and all the advisors utilizing her and her service have definitely been very thrilled. And you can already see kind of the shoulders going down on the advisors of a little less stress. It's stressful, obviously, bringing on some new employees, but at the end of the day, they're spending more of their time what they like to do, which is be out in front of their prospects, in front of their clients, and then paperwork and other things that they're looking to get off their plate. It's been pretty incredible. So Delegate has been a huge thing for our advisors, and really just switching that mindset to make sure for 2025 that they are focusing on things that can sell for them when they're not there. That's another huge thing, because advisors can only be so many places. And as they talk to prospects, especially new prospects that are meeting with them, they need different resources and tools in between the appointment process that can help the advisor basically sell the services and resources of them. They can't just be the one person telling the story over and over and over again. They have to utilize third-party pieces like podcasts, third-party pieces like one-pagers, YouTube library of videos, different things to basically show the prospect all the benefits that the client or the advisor can do for the client without necessarily having to be the one that is telling that customer over and over and over how great they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Well, keep going. Talk about some more of the resources that they're using to grow, to consistently grow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to say too, for delegation. So especially on the resource side of things, we launched earlier this year. It's a program called AMP Assist. And so for our advisors that are really in that growth or scale mode of their business, what they do is they have their staff member. So I've talked about it numerous times throughout the show. We have it's AMP, so Advisor Mentorship Program. So I do monthly mastermind calls with my advisors, and we always share best practices. We bring together like-minded advisors to help show proven systems and processes to help other advisors. And so I took this model, and after doing those business planning calls last year with my advisors in November and December, we ended up rolling out AMP Assist. So similar format, but this is only for the advisor's team. So it can be their marketing coordinator, their COO, so individuals in their office. So those advisors are having those team members jump on a monthly mastermind call with myself. And then I'm going through different ways of helping the individual that the advisor has on their staff team actually leverage technology into their processes. So social media postings, ways to communicate to prospects, how to just really think inside the mind of an advisor. So just almost as a outside the box ideas kind of person would be how these individuals are viewing me. And then based off of what some successful advisors are doing to really help build trust and credibility with new prospects. So we bring those type of not just collateral, but also just stories and information to those individuals. So the advisor is still continuing to go out there, be with their clients, run appointments, and they know that when they're on these monthly calls for their staff members with us, they're getting a little bit better, and the advisor's not having to spend their time going through some of the things that we talk about during the mastermind call. They leverage this one-on-one call with myself and then the other team, whoever's in on those monthly calls, to really just dive in to what successful advisors are doing, and then hopefully implement those processes within their own advisor. So that's AMP Assist has been really good. I think for the most part, advisors on the resource side, everybody's out there right now. It seems like with the new administration, a lot of people want second opinions. So for resources specifically for what advisors are looking to leverage, do you remember when I talked about, it's called Change Activation Model? So it's called CAM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so do you remember those numbers?
No.
Nope. Well, so for the numbers, it was, so for CAM, and this is what one of our last topics on the AMP Assist call was about CAM. So the 7 hours of content. So the Google research, Forbes research shows that in order for consumers to buy things online or just consumers in general to build trust and actually purchase something from a brand, they need to have at least 7 hours of content. They need 11 touch points according to Google. And then also the brand needs to be within 4 forums to really help build that whole trust and credibility. So for the advisors and their team that are on these emphasis calls, we really started to hone in on what processes to really leverage how to make 7 hours of content for an advisor's brand. So when a prospect does come in as a new lead or someone who raises their hand to meet with the advisor, there's additional content out there that that person can be basically emailed or shot over of information of places to where we say control the eyes, show them where they can locate some additional topics or certain videos that the advisor's done or podcasts, to where once the individual, the prospect meets with the advisor, they feel like they've already had at least an hour of one-on-one time with that individual. And we've seen the sales cycle of conversion from prospect to client just substantially, just it reduces. And it's just being more efficient, leveraging the technology that we have.
This sounds really great, but are the advisors seeing results?
Well, last year, with those 15 advisors, were up 48%. So I did actually get the final number. I think I said on one of the recent podcasts. So just those specific 15 advisors that are in AMP, they were up 48% year over year for 2024. So I think I'm huge with numbers, and yes, they are getting the good results. And I want to say the main theme outside of just delegation is if we can help an advisor. And money's great, but I mean, at the end of the day, so yes, we can help advisors. I've seen advisors last year that basically doubled their income. Some even made more than double their income for 2024, which is woohoo. Sounds great, which is it is. It's a very powerful thing. But what they're doing is they're buying back their time. And so we're able to, with some of these systems and processes, and this is where the difference maker is as an advisor continues to grow and scale, they got to grow and scale the right way to where they're buying back their time and they're able to take more days off. They're able to have their team do things that they just quite frankly don't need to be doing, or that would just irritate them, because now when they are working, they're going to be more focused and a lot more approachable. And they're just being in their optimal self to make sure that when they do find a good prospect, have a good message to meet that individual, they come into the sales cycle, the sales process with that advisor, and they become a customer. The advisor is just doing specifically what he or she is really good at, and that's just making sure to help that customer, check off the boxes of what they're looking to do to retire with some peace of mind. And then their team and staff, they're the ones that are being able to actually send over additional content, additional information, and really hype up the advisor. So it's not all on the advisor's back. And so, like usual, if you're devil in your business, I saw a lot of advisors. I think one of the guys I just saw here, I wrote it down. I think he took off, I want to say an additional 4 weeks, so a month last year, and he actually doubled his business last year alone. So I mean, that's a month. So 30 days of being with his kids. His kids do like a robotic deal. So they actually have a robot contest that they do throughout the year. So he's getting really into not just that, but the amount of extra time now he's able to be with not just his wife, but his kids was pretty incredible. So, I mean, the money's great, but that's really what we're trying to do, is have more of an impact of helping their lives. For those not familiar with North American, they are a 139-year-old employee-owned company specializing in annuities and life insurance. They hold A-plus ratings with AM Best, S&P, and also Fitch. They had a record annuity year in 2024 with just over $7 billion of issued business that was balanced between guaranteed income and accumulation-focused fixed index annuities. In partnership with Annexus, in 2024, the Secure Horizon suite of fixed index annuities was presented with the Deal of the Year Annuities award by SRP Americas. The award recognizes excellence in annuity products based on performance, customer satisfaction, and sales volume. From an ease of business standpoint, North American has consistently issued in good order cash with app business within 24 to 48 hours via the Firelight eApp platform. And they just announced a first to market capability within the platform, the ability for the client to take a picture of a check and submit it right along with the e-application. That means instant issue on in good order business and commissions paid that much quicker. If you are looking for an employee owned industry leader in the annuity space that gets business issued fast and you paid commissions faster, North American is that company. For more information around North American's competitive advantages, go to www.insuremarkamp.com/Jeremy and click on Learn More. North American, prepare for your financial future. Are you an advisor currently working in your business instead of on your business each and every day? You are not alone. We come across advisors every single day that are constantly asking us, what can I do to get better? How can I go from being an advisor to a CEO? How do I delegate? If you find yourself asking you these same type of questions in your business to your team, you're in the right place. Make sure to check out our resources here at www.insuremarkamp.com/Jeremy. You can hear from successful entrepreneurial advisors like yourself as they have plugged into our systems and processes and continued to scale their business. If you are an advisor that's looking to go from advisor to CEO, make sure to go to www.insuremarkamp.com/Jeremy. Click on the Learn More section, insert your information. We'd love to get our introduction kit to you. Now, back to this episode.
Yeah, that's extremely important. Talking about these advisors, who's the ideal advisor for you to work with?
So, I mean, going back to, one of the advisors I referenced right there. So he was one of the particular ones that we saw back in February. And it's interesting because he started working with us about 3 years ago. And as we reflect, so we were talking about this during our sit down meeting before he had a workshop later on that night, actually. So for that particular one, he was at roughly right at a little over $100 million of assets under management. Wasn't doing any insurance at the time. It's been years since he did it. And fast forward, 2.5 years, 3 years. I think I just got his numbers. So he's at a total of $250 million as we sit today of total assets, about 50 million of that being with annuities and a little over 200 of assets under management. And why that person really stands out is not just, I was just with him, but so he basically has doubled his assets under management and also grown his insurance front. But when we kind of peel back the layers and why he seemed to have a lot more success is he tend to actually listen to some of the guidance that our team was providing with resources and systems. So he has his own podcast now. He's consistently really diving in more into the relationships of his current customers, being able to offer them protection, not just growing their assets, but really a protection part of the wheel of all the services that their team offers to their clients. He was able to now, by implementing some of the annuities and some of the strategies that we talk about with our advisors, he was able to gather more wallet share. And so the technology has been really good. Having processes and actual systems to convey the message to his clients that they can do holistic planning has been incredible as well too. But also really just the advisor has been able to add additional staff members over the last 2.5 years to just delegate things off his plate that he should not be doing. So he really does have a really good team of someone who actually helps him on the insurance side with his paperwork and someone who helps him on the assets under management. And that's a separate person. And that tends to be the advisors that do really well is once you get the right people in the right place. That's been beneficial. And then another guy we just mentioned, so when I went out to Napa, this individual was actually closer to Walnut Creek, and he, which that's a whole other story. So I drove this crazy little car. So drove from Sacramento to Walnut Creek, later that night, and I didn't realize that was like an hour and a half or 2 hour drive. So when I planned this originally, wasn't the wisest decision, but but we knocked it all out that day. So this individual, as an advisor, he was at approximately 40 million or so of assets under management when we started working together roughly 3 years ago or so. And so here we are today, and he's doubled his assets under management, approaching 100 million. And he last year did right at 9 million of annuities. So he ended up really leveraging what he was doing in his processes once he added an additional staff member. So and I know I'm really harping on that this year, but the theme of 2025 has been delegation. So the advisors, what he found is once he started to add staff members, his customers looked at him not as a salesman, but as a businessman. So as an actual business,
Sure.
so someone who's not just selling product. And so that's been something really beneficial for not just his business, but after I left his office, same thing. So having some new dynamics, additional people in the office. So when we left, I left, after I left his office and went to go pick up Christina at the airport, he shot me a message and said, "Hey, we're actually going to add an additional staff member after me just being there visiting with them and really shining a light on some of the things that are below the line within their organization." So, but there's a common trend, I would say, right now where we're at. So a lot of our resources, and I'll tell you why these numbers are pretty keen in, is $8 million of fixed index annuities. So if an advisor's firm is doing $8 million of annuities on a calendar year, usually they are a perfect fit for the resources and systems we're using. Or if an advisor has at least $120 million of assets under management, that's another way of measuring if that advisor would be a good fit for our systems, because that's where we can take the advisor really to not just double, but triple and so on and so forth, because they actually have the right revenue coming into the business right now. We know where they're at, where the bottleneck is coming. So we actually offer certain resources in the right place to hire the right people, to add the right technology. And so that has become a really good staple for us, for advisors that have those two metrics, one or the other, or if both, even better, but also the right mindset. So I can't express that enough. So any advisor that's listening to this after seeing all these amazing advisors we work with out in Founders Club, at the Founders Club experience in Miami, these advisors all have an amazing mindset, a growth mindset. They're really about family first, but they're also about their community. So they're open to hiring people. So the mindset's very crucial too.
With mindset, I always think about habits. You get yourself into a habit of doing things a certain way. How important are habits for advisors to be successful?
Very, very important. So we actually had multiple people on stage for our Miami event. So during Founders Club experience, and each one of them, I mean, the main speakers, we had advisors sharing on main stage, and each person already they have similar habits. And I want to say there's probably 5. So let's just say if Jeremy had a top 5 habits for advisors based off the ones that were in the room, I would say, and rattle off a couple. One of the main ones is waking up early. So I've said that on a couple episodes, but I cannot express that enough, that the common theme for most advisors is they wake up early. And so follow-up question, they would say, "Jeremy, what's early?" Well, early is basically your determination of what it is. Some advisors I work with, they basically wake up at 5. Some go and work out at 5. Some may wake up at 6, but they're very quick on their feet and they may be working out. And so they do their workout by 6:30. So I would say anywhere from 5 to 6 or so, if they're operating and getting going, great. I have some advisors that wake up at 4. So it just depends, but we all have that same 24 hours. So you can base your day and scale it. Of out of those 24 hours, what hours am I sleeping? What hours am I able to actually delegate to my family? What hours am I going to be able to knock out what I need to be efficient at work, health? So there's a lot of different things, but waking up early, if you're not doing that, you're missing out on the boat, because over time, I mean, just if you wake up 1 hour earlier it's almost a challenge. So if somebody is listening to this and if they just push themselves for the next week to wake up 1 hour earlier, and for the next week, that's approximately 7 hours that you're now actually able to do additional tasks, whatever those might be. Maybe you start working out more. Maybe you have an opportunity to hang out with your family a little bit more, spiritually, whatever you want to do for that extra hour. So just push it. I always challenge people to just wake up 1 hour before you usually do. And that habit starts to seep in. And then you'd be amazed after about 2 to 3 weeks, it just becomes your new normal of just waking up. It's very tough to just start doing that. So that's one. Also, stop watching TV. So that's number 2. Stop watching TV. Honestly, I think majority, if not, I'm not going to say all, because I have a lot of advisors that love sports, which is fine. I mean, I love sports too. But I mean, the amount of time that can be consumed by just watching TV, you'd be amazed just sitting there. I mean, if you were to actually like write down on whatever, put it on your phone, put it on your app. All right, I'm sitting down. Don't like random scroll. So don't just click on Netflix. I've been guilty of this too. I do this every now and then also. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, Jeremy, just talk to yourself. But don't just like sit down and it's like, all right, you're with the wife and you're just hanging out there. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, let's see what's on Netflix. And you have no plan. And all of a sudden you spend 10, 15 minutes scrolling. And then after that point, you're like, there's nothing on here, is there? No, there's not. All right, well, let's go watch this. It's like, all right, I don't even want to watch TV anymore. Yeah, me neither. Like, what did we just do? We just wasted 15 minutes. Have a plan. So like if you know that you're going to have some downtime, at least know what you're going to be watching. But I would definitely say for sure, like if you find yourself watching TV throughout the day, just don't. Just don't.
Yeah.
There's other ways to manage your time and control your eyeballs. Anything that you're watching, that's basically what's going to end up maybe even portraying or setting your mood for the day. You never know. So just limit TV watch. Remove notifications from your phone. So that's going back also to what I just mentioned for the most part, is control what is inputted. So anything that's coming into you. So like, for instance, throughout your day, if all of a sudden your phone beeps and you have a notification, text messaging, that's not necessarily it is a notification, but I mean, texts are texts. But like if all of a sudden your CNN app or Fox News or something else, Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal, and they're sending you a notification, I mean, that's designed to get your eyeballs to go there and then pick up that phone. So if you could really try to turn off all of the notifications of your phone. So the only thing that really is actually going to make your phone ding or light up is phone calls and text messages. Just try to be limited, because just one simple action of going into your phone and all of a sudden, you start scrolling. People are guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. And then all of a sudden you look up, you're like, damn, that was 10 minutes. So that's what they're doing. So if you just really limit notifications and then focus on what you're doing throughout the day, that's pretty beneficial. So those are the first 3. Number 4, I would actually say, and I've talked about it already, make a list. So really make a list of your below the line. So what that means is anything from, if you actually know for, let's say 2024, if you know how much money you made, so whatever you actually let Uncle Sam know, however much money you made, dividing that by the hours of actual work that you did last year, that becomes your wage. So if it was $100 or $50, whatever it is, so whatever the amount is per hour, if you find yourself doing certain tasks and those are like $10 jobs, $10 an hour jobs or $15 hour jobs, if it brings you absolute joy, then okay, keep doing it. So if you really love mowing your yard, have at it. Go mow the yard. But if these are below the line task that you're doing, not just in your personal life, but also in your business life, really start to write down certain things based off of whatever your standard is and start to eliminate those and delegate those out. I actually, my wife, so earlier this year, we've been really blessed actually. So earlier this year, my wife found somebody who essentially is basically our below the line activities individual here at the house. So like I did similar like while I'm talking to here, my wife basically has below the line things that like, you know what, I want to spend more time with the kids, but the laundry's building up, the dishes are building up.
Mhm.
And so me and her, I mean, it's not like, Jeremy's just a slum. I would do the dishes. I would do all certain things, but it's just when you have some downtime and you finish your day and you find yourself doing tasks like that
Yeah.
consistently and folding clothes and the whole process. And you think to yourself, man, I would really like to just hang out with my kids during this 15-minute time frame that I have. You start to really think to yourself, is there a better way? So we actually do have somebody. She's worked out great. It's been a couple months now. And so literally anything below the line within our household, she's knocking out. And then so the family, we get to actually hang out with the kids a little bit more. And you just have a certain standard that you're starting to set. So same type of methods can be not just in your business life, but also the personal life too. So something to think about is really that's a great job or great task to do is below the line activities. Patrice, what would be a below the line activity for you?
Probably, yeah, the wash and cleaning the house.
For instance, too, like just like the little things, right? It's like, but finding the right person because it's very
Yeah.
particular too. Because at the same time, you're like, well, I don't like the way this is folded. Is that karate chop the right karate chop? Um, so many little things. So finding the right person, but obviously the right person might be a little more pricier too. So whatever your delegation threshold is, it's okay to find the right person because at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is buy back your time. So you have your own standard. So right now, so for your laundry, I would assume it'd probably be nice to have somebody come in maybe twice a week and just knock out laundry, fold it, and put it up for you, right?
Yeah, it would. It would.
Yeah,
We'll get there, I suppose. But right now, it's yeah.
I know it's a pain. And so delegation for number 4. So below the line, above the line activities. And then the last thing is pretty impactful one. If you're in the right mindset, this will make a lot of sense. I would say raise your standards on who is actually getting your time. So if you have people that are in your circle, and it's not their fault, but it's just if people are set in their ways, especially if you are currently in a really good growth mindset, not just in the business front, but you're enjoying what you're doing, you love your spouse, and you have things going for you, but you want more, and you want to really push it to see where you're going in life. What all can you do? Be the most optimal person of yourself. Some people, unfortunately, there's just going to be times where they just don't get it. So they just will view you in a certain way where it's like, man, why are you going for this? Why are you doing all this, that, the other? So I have the opportunity to be around a lot of very successful entrepreneurial advisors. And that's something to where it's something they have to be mindful of. Don't be rude, but be mindful of it to where like some people are just very content where they're at. And so maybe that individual who used to get hanging out with you going golfing on the weekend, now all of a sudden you're not golfing as much. Or if there's some people that, for instance, you end up just for whatever reason, their conversations with you are very surface level and you want to talk more about business, you want to talk more about like things that actually matter, not what's going on TV. That person, unfortunately, it's not their fault. It's just, it's not the right fit for you at the moment or anymore. So you've outgrown that relationship. And it's tough to basically let go of certain things because the uncertainty of you don't know what's out there as you continue to grow, but your people will find you. So that's really the number 5 habit I would say for really successful entrepreneurial advisors, is basically really knowing who they are delegating their time to. And then negativity, if there's any negativity at all, just let it go. Believe me. No, I said that on a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
No one's coming to save you in 2025. Negative people, they'll be okay. It's going to hurt their feelings maybe, but regardless, they're just trying to bring you down too. So just don't worry about it. Just continue to move forward. So that's been a big one, is basically just raising your standard, see who's at your standard. I saw this like quote, I actually put a quote out on social media recently. It was raise the price on who has access to you, and then align with people that can afford it.
I like it.
For those not familiar with North American, they are a 139-year-old employee-owned company specializing in annuities and life insurance. They hold A-plus ratings with AM Best, S&P, and also Fitch. They had a record annuity year in 2024 with just over $7 billion of issued business that was balanced between guaranteed income and accumulation-focused fixed index annuities. In partnership with Annexus, in 2024, the Secure Horizon suite of fixed index annuities was presented with the Deal of the Year Annuities Award by SRP Americas. The award recognizes excellence in annuity products based on performance, customer satisfaction, and sales volume. From an ease of business standpoint, North American has consistently issued in good order cash with app business within 24 to 48 hours via the Firelight e-app platform. And they just announced a first to market capability within the platform, the ability for the client to take a picture of a check and submit it right along with the e-application. That means instant issue on in good order business and commissions paid that much quicker. If you are looking for an employee owned industry leader in the annuity space that gets business issued fast and you paid commissions faster, North American is that company. For more information around North American's competitive advantages, go to www.insuremarkamp.com/Jeremy and click on Learn More. North American, prepare for your financial future. So those would be the top 5. And last but not least, I would actually add to this one. So the last one I would say is just optimal. Just here's like a bonus. Just being the optimal you. I remember about 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I was doing something at work and somebody showed me this like chart. So it was basically a circle, and then he drew four quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
It was a circle, and it was basically faith and spiritual here in the far left. Then he had family, then he had health, and then he had down here work. And so being the optimal you is just being mindful throughout the days, throughout the weeks, is if one of those 4 quadrants is getting more of you consistently, that means that you're alienating one of these 4, if not 2 of the 4.
Interesting.
So just being really, really mindful of, if you're, so for instance, I know you're working out. So you're doing some of your workouts now. You've been doing them, obviously. Sorry for the guests. So people, but if you find yourself wanting to do more working out, or maybe you're just spending too much time at work and you're taking time from your family, just be mindful of that and try to put together, if not a vacation, but maybe a dinner night, little things like that, of just trying to keep that balance, because when it's all said and done, just trying to be the most optimal you. Just try not to dive too deep into just one thing, and know when you are doing that, maybe the timing, you're just needing to do certain things for work for a couple weeks or a month or whatever it is, but just be mindful of like, hey, you're probably alienating somewhere else. So just be cautious of that.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to come back to that in a minute, but I want to get to yourself, working on yourself. You've set a new goal for yourself for running this year.
I have. Yes. Yeah. So we did so last year, don't quote me, I don't remember the numbers. I know it was less than 700 miles last year for 2024. And so we did,
wow.
What did I do? I did 2 or 3, I think 2 or 3 months where I ended up the first month, it was around August or so. I set a goal to just do 100 miles for that month. And we just had a baby. We just moved. So I was like, well, that's impossible. So I'm going to try to do that. And ended up doing it. And then realizing to myself, like, man, if I could do it during all of this, and basically I just wasn't sleeping, so might as well just run. So from there, just start really getting into running. And so this year, the book Atomic Habits. So Atomic Habits talks about just getting 1% better each and every day. So that's a big thing of just like, for me is, if I have the opportunity to wake up, I'm just going to get better today than where I was yesterday. And so over time, if you get better by 1% every single day, that's call it a little over 37% for the full year. And so I took that number. So, all right, if I ran just shy of 700 miles for 2024, what's that multiplied by 1.37? And that number ended up being like right at 960 something. So I just said, all right, whatever. I'm going to run 1,000 miles for 2025. So right now, as we record, we're cruising. In January, I did a little over 105. So I did 105 miles for January. I was able to finish my 100 miles for January within 30 days. And then on the 31st day, I decided I'll go for another 5-mile run. So we knocked that out. February. So we are definitely, it's a short month. The reason why I'm trying to run at least 100 miles a month, at least right now, as much as I can, is basically, I don't know what I don't know. And that's going to be the summer months where it's just going to be excruciating hot here in Houston. Yeah. So I haven't done, I think usually each year during the summer months, I may run like 30 to 50 to 60 miles, maybe.
So you're getting them in the bank. You're getting the miles in the bank.
I'm trying to bank it a little bit right now. So I'll do over 100 miles. So I'm right now, as we record, I'm already over 78 miles, I think. And I got a little over a week left. So, so we're cruising on the running front. So I'll continue to keep everybody posted on this, but that has been a personal goal. And it's good because, like I said, when running, I use that as time to actually listen to books. So I'm multitasking, listening to some really good stuff. Have you ever heard the book Can't Hurt Me?
Can't Hurt Me. No.
Okay. Well, if you're an audience member, his name's David Goggins. He's actually a former Navy SEAL. Oh my gosh, that book. So I've seen him on like social media for a couple of years and just like really short clips. And I was just like, I've always seen him and been like, well, that guy gets it. But then I read this book or listened to the book in the month of January, and halfway through February during my run. It was 13 hours long. Incredible though. So if you ever needed a book to run to, it's a pretty raunchy. I mean, he cusses like a sailor, but hey, it's a good mindset book for just wanting to dig down deep. So if you're looking for a good audio book to just motivate you while you're working out and stuff, Can't Hurt Me is a great one to check out.
Now, I just want to jump back to being the optimal you. You have those 4 quadrants. You've got your circle. How do you know when those quadrants aren't equal?
My wife.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, it's tough to, I mean, I joke, but I'm pretty serious though. In the last 6 months, I think the reason I'm actually able to wake up easier and do a lot more than I've been doing over the years is my accountability partner has been Harvey. Literally the baby waking me up. And just that whole 90-minute intervals of feeding the baby and all that. So I do the wake up feeds in the morning. And so if it was like 4:00 in the morning, I was like, well, might as well just go run. So I started doing that. And I think over time, I just decided as he started to sleep through the night, like, all right, I'm just not going to go back. So, but no, I think, and I mean, literally, if it wasn't for Christina, it'd be tough and I know it's not, I'm not perfect, far from that. And so just because I'm doing a lot of like things and what you'll see on, if people follow on social media, like it's not always going to be rosy, but at the same time, it's great to just have a good partner who wants me to be the best me, who's pushing me to be better. And then just being able to have somebody as a sounding board to just, be realistic on what goals I have and certain things that we're doing. And if she has a good gauge, she has a very good gauge to where it's pretty tough for me if I'm in the thick of it to not know where I'm at on certain things, but she helps me out with that. So having a good accountability partner, she's more than that, obviously, but it's great to just have somebody as a sounding board. So that'd be my answer. Is that a good answer?
Good answer. Very good answer. Christina will love it. Now, the big
Get me
question.
out of that one. Okay.
Well, okay, let's wrap this up with a question. How can people reach you and learn how to be efficient, delegate, and maybe find an accountability partner?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. And actually, to be honest with you, that is what a lot of advisors do within our team. And that's what they do with me. I mean, I can't imagine my days just texting people, advisors having their own goals of what they put out there for not just the work front, but personal goals. So they can find us at insuremarkamp.com/Jeremy. Feel free to check out our team's website. You can listen to past podcasts, but also you can actually hear from some of our advisors that are leveraging our resources. So that'd be a good spot, insuremarkamp.com/Jeremy. And then we actually do have an introduction kit. So if you ever wanted to have us mail out a kit to you to hear a little bit more about our resources, more than happy to send that to you. Just click on learn more on the website.
All right, advisors, make 2025 your year. Don't get left behind. Check in with Jeremy Hauser and follow this podcast. I'm Patrice Sikora, and thanks for being with us.